Most directors desperately want you to like their protagonist. They want you to root for them, cry for them, and celebrate their victories. Abhinav Sunder Nayak, he wants you to be complicit in their crimes. What if I told you the best filmmaking technique in Malayalam cinema right now wasn't a soaring drone shot or a massive CGI budget, but unapologetic, cynical arrogance? Let's break down the logic of why Abhinav Sunder Nayak's absolute disregard for traditional storytelling is exactly why Mollywood is the most exciting film industry in India today. In most Indian film industries, we're fed a steady diet of karma. You know the formula? The villain does bad things, the hero rises, the villain falls, and cosmic balance is restored. It's comfortable, it's safe, and frankly, it's getting boring. Then, Nayak dropped his 2022 debut, Mukundan Unni Associates. He didn't just ignore the karma concept, he actively mocked it. He gave us a protagonist who manipulates the legal system, exploits human suffering, eliminates his competition, and, here is the kicker, wins. He forces the audience to confront the harsh reality that sometimes terrible people get away with everything. By trapping us in Mukundan's head through relentless voiceovers, we become the accomplices. Now, if you spend enough time in film circles, you'll run into a heavy allegation. Mukundan Unni Associates is just a copy of Hollywood's Nightcrawler. And look, on paper, the skeletons match. Both feature a socially awkward, success-obsessed sociopath who stumbles into a morally bankrupt business, takes out an older mentor-turned-competitor, exploits human tragedy for profit, and gets away scot-free. But anyone who calls this a lazy copy doesn't understand the grueling math of film adaptation. Abhinav Sunder Nayak didn't just translate a script. He entirely re-engineered its DNA. Nightcrawler is a gritty, neon-soaked, hyper-serious Los Angeles thriller about media sensationalism. Nayak took that exact dark energy and transplanted it into the hyper-local, mundane reality of Kerala's ambulance-chasing lawyers and multi-crore medical insurance scams. Nayak admitted in interviews that hearing people dismiss his work as a mere rip-off genuinely bothered him.
എനിക്ക് ഏറ്റവും വിഷമം വന്നിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം മുകുന്ദൻ ഉണ്ണി അസോസിയേറ്റ്സ് ഇറങ്ങിയ സമയത്ത് നൈറ്റ്ക്രോളർ ഭയങ്കര കോപ്പി അടി എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു. എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര വിഷമമായിരുന്നു.
And it should. Grounding an abstract sociopathic concept into a highly believable regional milieu, while wrapping it in a laugh-out-loud absurdist dark comedy, is arguably harder than writing something from scratch. When people accuse him of arrogance for defending his work, they are mislabeling his creative boundaries. He isn't arrogant about stealing a plot. He is highly confident in his ability to execute a flawless cinematic transposition. If Mukundan was about compromising morality for success, his 2026 psychological dark comedy, Mollywood Times, is about uncompromising obsession. Billed as a hate letter to cinema, this movie follows an aspiring filmmaker who wants to make the greatest Malayalam horror film ever, inspired by Manoj Knight Shyamalan. Vineeth Madhavan isn't a lovable underdog. He is a narcissist. He's Howard Rourke from The Fountainhead with a camera. He believes filmmaking is an entirely individualistic pursuit, to the point where he would rather delete his own film than compromise his vision. And Nayak shows us this stubbornness visually. Notice how the character often travels and is framed in rigid, straight angles. That is not an accident. It is a physical manifestation of a psychological constraint. Now, here is the counter-argument critics love to throw around. If Nayak is such a genius, why aren't his movies entering the 100 crore club It's true. Mukundan Unni Associates was a sleeper cult hit rather than a mainstream box office juggernaut, and Mollywood Times pulled in a modest, respectable return instead of shattering commercial records. But measuring a director's vision purely by opening weekend ticket sales is a fundamentally flawed metric. Let's not forget that the highest rated movie in human history, The Shawshank Redemption, was a certified box office disappointment when it first hit theaters in 1994. Quality and commercial pandering are rarely the same thing. When a director boldly refuses to give the audience a trailer or openly mocks industry norms, people jump to a lazy label. They call it arrogance. But there is a massive difference between arrogance and pure, unadulterated creative confidence. Arrogance is thinking you can do no wrong. Confidence is having the conviction to stick to your unique voice, even if it means sacrificing easy box office gold. Nayak isn't trying to please everyone. He is making cinema that lasts. Nayak's style operates on a very specific, logical framework. Because he started as an editor, he knows exactly how to trim the fat. He uses extensive internal monologues, so dialogue scenes don't drag. He seamlessly blends 2D animations, diagrams, and text into live-action scenes, turning incredibly dark, cynical themes into twisted comic books. He creates complex films that feel entirely devoid of filler. Why is this vital for Mollywood? While other industries are bloating their runtimes with unnecessary item numbers and hero worship, Nayak is proving that you don't need a superstar saving the world. You need a system. You need a logical, distinctive, and highly confident directorial vision. So, is Abhinav Sunder Nayak arrogant in his filmmaking? Maybe. But in a cinematic landscape drowning in safe bets, I will gladly take the kind of arrogance that delivers this level of uncompromising logic any day of the week. What do you think? Is his technical style the future of the industry, or is it too polarizing? Let me know in the comments. And if you're curious about the logic behind other filmmakers, subscribe.